Hello everyone, I've got a tag project to share with you today. Our lovely admin Laurie Padilla in our Facebook group has just started an Etsy shop. She's been selling these gorgeous altered photographs. These are her own photographs which she's altered. I mean, just look how beautiful these are. I mean, look at that one there. She's got these, as I say, on her Etsy shop, but she's also started a project called Tag of the Month. And what she's doing is putting a tag kit together, which is very inexpensive, about $5, including postage. And you get a kit like this, full of lots of goodies to create a tag. And so this is mine. It took about a week to get here. So let's just empty it out and I'll show you what's included within the kit. So that's Laurie's business card there. Piles of Paragraphs is her Etsy shop store. So we've got a piece of thread to go through the top of the tag, a little focal image here, which is again one of her altered photographs. Let me just move that out of the way, and then a few papers and sequins and things as well. So we've got a piece of dictionary paper, would that be, or out of a botanical magazine, a piece of music paper, a little felt heart here, various sequins, a round punch shape, some pretty papers, some lace, cheesecloth fabric here as well, a strip of patterned paper. And so I'm just going to see what I can make out of this little collection of papers and fabrics. So let's have a look and see what we can do with this. I'm going to save that for the tie at the top of the tag for later. And I'm going to use the sequins for embellishments. So let's see if we can create some kind of collage using the papers that she's included. So we've got this cheesecloth fabric here. I'm thinking that might go layered underneath the pink there, something like that. And you know, I'm going to probably end up fiddling around with this quite a lot. Oh, go on underneath. I've got a piece of music paper which I'm thinking might go in the top right hand corner there, something like that. And then perhaps I can have this here, there, or there in fact. What else can I do? Maybe I can have this just to break up those two pieces there. I quite like how that looks. I've also got a scratch piece of ledger paper just off to my right hand side here, and I'm wondering whether I can add that into my piece. Maybe that's a bit too busy, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. I think what I'm going to do is glue this down just to start off with. I'm going to use a glue stick. Let me just move these out of the way. So how do I want to do that? So I'm going to glue this down to start off with. Just using my regular glue stick. I'm going to use a telephone book just to work in, just to catch the excess glue. Let me have a look. Which way round do I like that piece of music paper? Do I like the treble clef? No, I quite like the bass clef on this one here. So I'm just going to add some glue here like this. And we can have that down in the top right hand corner. I'm going to take it quite close to the edge to save any trimming. Let's use a hotel room key card just to smooth that down. I'm liking that. And then we can maybe use this here like so. Right, I know that I want that to go at the end of Iris Farm, so I'm just going to trim that on my paper trimmer. So I've trimmed that, and again, I'm just going to use my glue stick just to glue that down. And what I like about this is that you've got limited supplies, so it takes the overthinking element out of whatever you're doing, because you're just working with what you've got and trying to come up with something creative. And I just think that's a really great idea. So I'm just going to glue that down there like that. Again, I can use this room key card just to make sure it's stuck down properly. And then I'm going to glue the pink piece on there like like that. Now I'd forgotten about the piece of cheesecloth I want to use, and I want that glued down something like that, and then this little piece in there just to break up those two panels. I think that looks quite sweet. How do I want to do this? I've got some of my Distress Oxides, and I've got my favourite colour here, Iced Spruce. Let me just grab a makeup sponge, and I think what I want to do is just ink around the edges of this first, just to grunge it up a bit. I want to follow along with the continuity of the black that's going on with the music paper and the text. So I'm just going to use this here like this. And then I'm just going to use some 3-in-1. I think I need to add a bit more, a bit further down. I just really like that. Yep, I'm liking that so far. So that will glue on there something like that. So I'm just going to use some 3-in-1 just to glue my piece of fabric down. So again, I'm just working on this phone book, and I'm just going to add a small amount of the glue just on the edge here. So we'll apply that just around the edges. Not too much. Whoops-a-daisy, you see this is really fragile, and I don't want to end up making a mess with this. So I'm just going to pop that down like that, just see where that lands. That's cool, I like that. And then quickly pop that underneath. Just make sure that I'm popping the glue to the right side where I've done the inking, and I'm just going to slide that under like so, and then of course I'll glue my piece of pink paper on the edge like that. And again, I'm just going to use my glue stick to glue this down. I think I'll ink along the edge. I might end up trimming that off, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to ink just in case, and then we'll add some glue. So I'll just add the glue to the back. I've flipped the page of my phone book over just so that I don't end up with glue on the other side where I don't want it. So plenty around the edges, there we are, and then we can stick that down. I want the fabric to show. Again, I can use my card just to trim, just to stick this down, and then I'm going to trim around the edges. So that's the base of my tag so far, and I really like that I ended up pulling the cheesecloth by accident, and I've got these threads, and I really like that. Now what I want to do is just make this into a tag shape. So I've got a tag here, just a blank from my stash, and I'm going to use that just to trim the corner off. There we go, and I'll do the same on the other side just so that those are symmetrical. So let's just trim that there like that. So I'm happy with that. And then before I do anything else, I'm going to ink around the edges again, just using some of the Distress Oxide in Iced Spruce. And this will just frame the tag. And I always find it easier just to frame it first because, I don't know, it just seems to define more easily where you're going to place your focal image. So we'll just do that. It'll tone down the bright pink of the strip of cardstock on the left-hand side as well. So there we go. I'm really liking how that's looking. So now I just need to play around with my focal image. So of course, what have I got? I've got this piece of pink here. I'm not sure whether I want any more of the pink. My little pretty focal image, which is one of the altered photographs from Laurie's collection. I need to decide which way round I want that. I've got this little strip of paper. I've also got some of this leftover dictionary paper here. So let's have a look and see what we can do do with this. I think I want the scalloped edge on that side there, perhaps. I could even have that and wrap that round, perhaps. So it really is just a case of playing with things and seeing what kind of design you can come up with. So maybe we can layer these like this. Now I think that goes that way round, or I'd like it to go that way round. And I quite like how that looks there. Do I want to use some more of this? I think I want to just trim that white at the top off. I've got too much white. Let's see if we can layer this in some way. Oh, I've got glue on my fingers, and of course everything is moving around as I don't really want it to. So we could maybe have that there, like that. So I'm just going to play around with this cluster and see what I can come up with. So I think I'm going to have my cluster on here, something like that. I've also got this tiny piece of cheesecloth left over from where I trimmed it on the edge, and I think that would look really cute there as well. And so I'm just going to glue those down with some Fabri-Tac. I'm going to start off with the lace here. Let me just move these out of the way, and I'm just going to apply a tiny bit of Fabri-Tac. Let's have a look. Which way does this lace go round? I'm just trying to fathom out which is the front and which is the back. I think that's the back, so I'm just going to apply some Fabri-Tac along both edges here. Not too much, just a tiny bit here, like this, and some along this edge as well. And then, of course, the elements that I add on top will help to hold it down as well. So I want that to go on there. Let me just stand up to do this. About there. Wanted it to go at the top of a family, like that. So I'm just going to dot this down with my finger, and then before I glue any of the other elements down, I'm just going to ink around the edges again using the iced spruce. So that's my little embellishment cluster. Now I want to add this cute, pretty pink heart just in the corner. Again, I'm just going to use some of my 3-in-1 for that, if I can get it to come out of the bottle, that is. I need to get myself some more, just because although this is self-adhesive, I don't think it will stick well enough on its own. I love how that looks so far. That's just really cute. Now I do want to add some of these sequins as well. I'm going to try and be random about this, just to add a bit more bling. And I'm going to use some of my Anita's 3D gloss gel to glue these down. So what I shall do is just add a blob. Let's see if this will come out. So a small blob, and just place my sequin on top like that, and that should be enough to hold the sequins in place. So I'm just going to play around with these, and I'm just going to try and be really random about this and not overthink where I'm putting them. So I just need to add my threads at the top, and I've got an idea for that as well. What I'm going to do is just ink around the edge of this little circle here. Again, just using the Distress Oxide in iced spruce. Pop the lid back on, and then I'm going to fold this in half. Let's see if I can do this quite neatly. And then I think I'm going to add that as a little tab. There, like that. So again, we'll use the 3-in-1 if I can get the lid off. So some glue on both sides, not too much, and we'll pop that on like like that. So I'm quite pleased with myself because I've used most of the bits and bobs that Laurie has sent me. All I've got left is a few sequins and these 2 pieces of pink paper. So I'm just going to let that dry. I'll weight that down for a second or 2, and then of course I need to punch my hole. So I've got my crocodile and I'm just going to punch my hole. I'm just going to eyeball it about there like that. I've also got a white eyelet. I thought white would be quite fun. That one might be a bit too big actually to fit through the hole. Here we go, plan B. That was just a cheap set that I got from eBay, and the eyelet's just too big to go through the hole, so I'm just going to use one of my memory, we are memory keepers ones, so we'll squeeze that down like that. I think the white looks really cute because it picks out the white that's on the pink and white polka dot paper. So now I just need to thread through my piece of fabric, my trim through. I'm just going to make sure that I've inked all around the edges, front and back. Just before I do that, I like to do it on the back as well, which just finishes things off. You could of course add book paper or something to the back if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave mine plain for today. So we'll just finish that off. Just frames it really nicely, and let's see if we can get this trim through without any kind of metal aid. Here we go. And so we'll just pop that through there like that. I just think that's really sweet. How cute is that? Now I've got this piece of craft cardstock that I had to make the edges, and I just love the way that looks mounted on top of that craft cardstock. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to try inking around the edge in iced spruce. I might need to add some black soot. No, I think this is going to be fine. So I'm going to ink all around the edges of this as well, and I'm going to use this as a mount. So that's glued down, and I just love how that looks. And then finally, my finishing touch is just one of the Tim Holtz Small Talk little quotes, and that's collect beautiful moments. I have added some Fabri-Tac to the back of this just because I find that they don't stick down particularly well unaided. So I'm just going to add that there like that. I love how that tag looks. That was so much fun. So just to recap, this came from Laurie Padilla of Piles of Paragraphs. Her Etsy store is Piles of Paragraphs, and she's also Piles of Paragraphs on Instagram as well. Other people have taken part in the tag challenge. Elaine Gardner, for one of the other admins in our Facebook group, and I do believe Gail Agostinelli has also done a tag using Laurie's kit. So I'll leave the details of where you can buy these from in the description box below. Laurie is based in the US, although she does ship elsewhere, and I'm pretty sure that this was £5 including delivery, and took about 5 or 6 days to get here. And this is all that I've got left. For those of you that have a tendency to overthink things, having a kit like this where you've got a limited amount of supplies is just a really useful resource to have. So I think this is a really great idea. So if you enjoyed today's project, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and take care everyone. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.